So, today, I wanted to cover a few things that have been on my mind. I initially didn't want to address it since I haven't played KCD2 yet, but the whole pricing fiasco surrounding GTA 6, and now the discussion in the InZOI Discord about early access pricing caught my attention. I also wanted to dive into the drama surrounding KCD2 and the controversy over some of the new content, like the inclusion of a certain storyline. Just wanted to share my 2 cents and see if it adds value to the conversation. So, let's get into it while I play a bit of Lollipop Chainsaw and Dead Island 2. GTA 6 pricing and its implications. Let's start with one of the most anticipated games of all time, Grand Theft Auto 6. There's a lot of buzz, and understandably so. The gameplay, the graphics, the sheer world-building Rockstar is known for. It's poised to be groundbreaking. But here's the kicker. There's speculation that GTA 6 might cost $100. Yes, you heard that right. $100 for a single game. Now, most AAA games currently sit around the $70 mark. If GTA 6 comes out at $100, Rockstar is essentially setting a new industry standard. And let's face it, they're one of the few developers with the reputation and clout to pull this off. But should they? That's the real question. Let's think about this critically. The single-player campaign will undoubtedly be an incredible experience. But we all know GTA Online will be a huge moneymaker for Rockstar. Players will likely spend hundreds, if not thousands, on microtransactions for years to come. So, charging $100 up front feels like we're handing them money hand over fist for what? Setting a precedent that other developers might follow? And let's not forget the potential for less polished studios to jump on this bandwagon, charging premium prices for subpar experiences. We've seen this happen before with Ubisoft's Skull and Bones, a game they billed as a quadruple A experience, and fell flat, both in terms of quality and sales. I believe price should reflect value and polish, not just ambition. InZOI early access and pricing fairness. Next, let's talk about InZOI, a game that's been a recurring topic on this channel. It's set to enter early access in March 2025, and while it's shaping up to be an impressive life simulation, there's been some chatter about its pricing. Some folks in the InZOI Discord think it should launch at full price, even in early access, as a way to support the hardworking developers at InZOI Studio. Here's my take. Early access games should be priced reasonably, reflecting their unfinished state. A lot of successful early access titles, like Baldur's Gate 3 and Mirthwood, adopted a model where players pay a reduced price initially, and then an upgrade fee when the full version releases. This approach incentivizes early adopters while still rewarding the developers when the game reaches its final form. For InZOI, a fair price point might be $30 or $39.99 at most during early access. Jumping straight to full price, especially if the game isn't polished, could alienate potential players and set a bad precedent for future early access titles. Titles like Mirthwood and others demonstrate that early access pricing doesn't need to break the bank to attract a loyal player base. Remember, we vote with our wallets. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and the woke debate. Now on to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and the controversy surrounding its supposed inclusion of a same-sex romance scene. The backlash has been fierce, with some accusing the game of going woke. Here's the thing though, most of these criticisms are coming from people who haven't even played the game. According to early reviewers, the scene in question is buried deep within the story and requires a series of specific choices to even encounter. Let's talk about the game's director, Daniel Vavra. He's known for sticking to his creative vision, even in the face of backlash. Love him or hate him, you have to respect his dedication to authenticity and historical accuracy. From what I've seen, he's treated this particular subplot with the same care and nuance he's applied to the rest of the game. And let's be honest, the gaming community has been burned before by games that prioritize diversity initiatives over compelling narratives. But we've also seen representation done right, like in Mass Effect 2 and Dragon Age Origins. When it's tasteful and integrated into the story naturally, it adds depth and richness. The problem arises when representation feels forced, like a checkbox rather than a meaningful element of the narrative. In the case of KCD2, this isn't some sudden retcon that breaks immersion. It's a subtle addition that respects the historical context of medieval Bohemia, where such relationships were taboo. If anything, it adds complexity to the game's world and characters. The bigger picture, critical thinking in gaming. All of this ties into a larger issue, the need for critical thinking in the gaming community. Too often, we're quick to jump on bandwagons, parroting the opinions of influencers without fully understanding the context. Don't get me wrong, guys like Asmongold, Critical Drinker, and Endymion often have great takes, but no one hits the mark 100% of the time. It's okay to disagree with them or even challenge your own initial reactions. This knee-jerk response to anything perceived as woke is a perfect example. Cognitive dissonance is real, and it's something we all experience. But instead of letting it cloud our judgment, we should strive to see the nuance in these situations. Not every instance of representation is pandering, and not every ambitious price tag is justified. Conclusion. So, what's the takeaway here? Whether we're talking about GTA 6's pricing, InZOI's early access strategy, or the controversy surrounding KCD2, it all boils down to balance. Developers and publishers deserve to be rewarded for their hard work, but not at the expense of fair pricing and quality. And as players, we owe it to ourselves to think critically, support the good ones, and hold the bad ones accountable. Before wrapping up, let's quickly touch on something that explains much of this drama. Cognitive dissonance. It happens when you hold two conflicting beliefs, creating this uncomfortable tension in your mind. For example, fans of KCD loved the first game because it reflected their values or what they wanted from a gritty medieval RPG. However, the inclusion of a same-sex romance in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 challenges that belief, and the brain's natural response is to resolve the conflict, either by rejecting the game, justifying the addition, or adjusting their beliefs. This reaction is normal, but pausing and thinking critically is essential. Does this one scene ruin the game? Is it possible that it adds depth or aligns with the historical setting? Instead of reacting emotionally, consider the nuance. The key here is balance, recognizing that not every creative decision is a deal breaker and that games can still be enjoyable even if every element doesn't perfectly match your expectations. All right, thanks for sticking around. Remember, my goal is to offer constructive criticism and encourage you all to think for yourselves. Play what you love, reinforce the positives, and don't let cognitive dissonance cloud your judgment. Until next time, keep gaming and stay true to what makes you happy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree? Disagree? What's your take on these issues? And hey, if you enjoyed this rant, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Stay awesome AFK.
The only way we're going to get through this is by sticking together, being a team. Trust.
Trust.